Okay.
All right, guys. Now from here, what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to talk about how we're going to graph this. There's a couple ways to go about this. From completing the square that we've already talked about, I'm going to show you where that's going to come into play. So we're going to do it that way, then we're going to do it a different way and go from there. So that way you have more than one way to go. So here's our equation. Just like in completing the square, we want our a to be 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 4, and I'm going to pull it out. Alright, now here's the deal. 4 times x, 4x squared. Oops, sorry. That should be a 3, my bad. 4 times negative 3, negative 12x. And I'm leaving the blank, we're leaving that alone, and then our 9 is our 9. So we're not changing anything else, alright, anything up. So, I take this. I divide it by 2 and I square it. So this is going to be negative 3 over 2 squared. I'm leaving this alone for now. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. So I get the 9/4. Now here's the deal. 4 times 9/4 is 9. So because of that, I'm going to put my 9 here. So once again, I've got the 9/4 here, but it's not really 9/4 because I'm multiplying it by this 4. So it's really going to be a 9. So what I add to this side, I've got to subtract to the same side. So basically, the idea is if I wanted this to be, 4 is equal to 4, well, 4 plus 2 minus 2 is still going to be 4. So that's what I'm doing. I'm plusing 9, minusing 9. The only thing I'm doing is making it look a little different because there's 4 outside. Alright, now, this becomes 4 times x minus 3/2 squared plus 0. So if we remember finding our vertex, we go opposite of this with that. So now I have my vertex, okay? So since I have my vertex, I want to talk about a couple points. First of all, my a out front is positive, so we know we've got a u, it's going to be going up, all right? Now, I do want to go over this just briefly in case you didn't catch this on another video. Just like slope, as a bigger slope you have, we know zero slope, if you have no slope, it's going to give you a horizontal line, right? The more vertical this becomes, the bigger the slope is. So on and so forth, all the way till it gets undefined, which is up and down. Well, just like that happens, as this gets higher, the slope increases up to the point to where it becomes undefined. Well, the same thing is with this 4. Essentially, what's going to happen as the u increases, it's going to get, if this is a regular, if that's a 1, if this is where a is equal to 1, then a equals to 1/2 is going to look wider, okay? And a equals to 4 is going to make this more vertical, skinnier. So it's going to widen out or it's going to come in together, so based on this. So we know right now our graph is going to start at 3/2. It's positive, so we know that it's going up. Because of the 4, we know it's going to come in together. Our sides are going to be more narrow. Okay? Now, so we know our vertex is going to be right here. So, in order to get our y-intercept, This is our f of x. We're simply going to put a 0 in because when x is 0, that's along this y-axis, so that's going to be our intercept for that. So f of 0 is equal to 4 times 0 minus 3/2 squared plus 0, which is 4 negative 3/2 squared plus 0, which is 4 times negative 3 squared, we know, is 9. 2 squared is 4. Plus 0, we're not worried about it. And when these multiply, this is simply going to become 9. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right there. All right, now just like I talked about in the last one, the distance between from this axis and this symmetry, this line of symmetry, which is going to be at our half, is 1.5. So I'm going to go over half and 1. That's going to be my other point, and I know I'm going just like that. Okay. Notice that the graph is pretty narrow, right? Just like I said it was going to be narrow based on this 4. Because the 4 is positive, it's going up. All right? So this is one way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do another problem and the same methodology. And then on the next video, or if there's enough time, we'll do the same thing the other way. All right, here we go. Personally, this is 0.5. I don't like 0.5. I don't like decimals. I prefer fractions. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1/2 x squared minus 2x minus 7. So from here, my first step, I'm pulling the 1/2 out. Okay, 1/2 times x squared, 1/2 x squared. Now I'm going to make this negative 4x because 1/2 times negative 4x is going to give me my negative 2x. All right, big concept. Remember, as you pull this out, this has got to distribute to give you the one before, so you're going to check it as you go. Take my negative 7, leave it out. I'm going to take this, divide it by 2, then square it. So 4 divided by 2 squared. Four divided by 2 is 2. So 2 squared is 4. All right, now here's the deal. 1/2 times 4, this 4 right here, is 2. So I'm adding 2 on this side. So if I'm adding 2 on the side, in order to keep my balance, I have to subtract it on the same side. Just like that. So this becomes 1/2 x minus 2 squared minus 9. So I know my vertex is going to be positive 2, negative 9. Notice I'm going against this, but I'm going with my k. All right, going against the h, but with my k. All right, now let's graph this. All right, so here is 2, negative 9. So there's my line of symmetry. All right, now, what do we know about this? We know that it's positive, so it's facing up. However, it's less than 1. My a is less than 1, so we know it's going to widen out. So, with this, I'm looking at it, and I say, all right, well, I'm going to find out what my intercept is. So 1/2 times 0 minus 2 squared minus 9. 1/2 times 0 minus 2, negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. Half of 4 is 2. 2 minus 9, negative 7. So that's going to do that. Now, this is a distance of 2, 1, 2. So I go 2 more out. There's my y-intercepts from there. My y-intercept here, and then due to symmetry, I find this point. All right, now, if I want to find my intercepts, I'm going to set it equal to 0. So we say 0. So I add 9 to both sides. Marker's running bad, huh? Add 9 to both sides. 9 is equal to 1/2 x minus 2 squared. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, just because I like to. So 18 is equal to x minus 2 squared. Notice when I multiply this side by 2, I get the 18. When I multiply this side by 2, the 1/2 is going to reduce out. So from here, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 18, let's see, what is it, 9, 2. So it's going to be plus or minus 3 radical 2 is equal to x minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. And we know 2 plus or minus 3 radical 2 is equal to x. All right, well that makes sense. That makes sense because here is my 2. So now I need to add 3 radical 2 and take away 3 radical 2. Well, what is 3 radical 2? Well, 3 is 3, well 3 radical 2 is 3 times radical 2. Radical 2, was it 1.14, so on and so forth. With that said, we're going to go a little bit less than 1.5 or whatever. So 1.5 times 3. So we'll say 1.5 times 3, 15, carry the 1, 3, 4.5. So it's going to be less than 4.5. Because, like I said, radical 2 I think is 1.41 something. So we're going to do a little less than that. So here's our 2. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll call it just a little bit there. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a little bit there. It's going to come up. And here. Go here. And of course, when you have your calculators or whatever, you can put this out a little nicer. But since we're not using that, we're going by freehand. This point right here is going to be our 2 plus 3 radical 2. This is going to be our 2 minus 3 radical 2. Okay? So with this, you'll notice that this graph, like I said, is starting to widen out some. Now granted, it may not be as clear because my divisions aren't really the best, but overall, I hope that you get the general idea of that. So once again, big important point, when you pull out this 1/2, you want to make sure that when you do the complete the square on this side, you have to remember when you put it out for this blank, that it's the 1/2 times whatever this is to put it on the outside in order to maintain balance. So with that said, see you next time.